Welcome back to Handmade with Holly. My name is Holly Michelson, and I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator from Del Mar, New York, just outside of Albany. Thanks so much for joining me today. I've got a fun project where I'm going to make cute packaging that can be used to wrap up a little treat to give to somebody for the holidays. Here's a couple of designs that I've already made, and we're going to make two other treat packages today that are different than these two, so I'll give you another couple of ideas as well. But before I go ahead and get started, just a quick reminder that if you're not yet subscribed to my YouTube channel, I invite you to subscribe. It's free to subscribe, and by becoming a subscriber, you become part of the Handmade with Holly community. If you click on the notifications bell, YouTube will notify you each time I upload a new video, and then you'll get to see all of my cool projects. All right, so let's go ahead and get started. The supplies that we need today are really our scraps, and that's what inspired this project for me. I've been making just loads and loads of holiday cards, and I've been really focused on using some great DSP that I earned free during Celebration. So if you see this tan plaid right here, or if you see this peppermint stripe right here, both of these came from the Peaceful Prints Designer Series paper. This paper was free during Celebration in August and September of 2021. And I earned many packs of this paper, as well as many packs of this Penguin Playmates paper, which has all of these adorable critters. And so I have made lots of holiday cards using these Designer Series paper. And now I have lots of scraps and bits and pieces, and I'm determined to make good use of them. So these projects are a great way to dig into your scraps and also to make something adorable that you can give, whether you want to use these as table favors on your holiday table or party favors. Perhaps leave them on the desk of coworkers, drop them into gift bags with other gifts. All sorts of great uses for these. So I'm going to go ahead and just clear the candy out of the way so we can get started. And this penguin, as you notice, came from the Penguin Playmates paper. There's actually a sheet of paper in the pack. You can use this penguin punch to punch out this adorable little guy. And these pine trees came from the Evergreen Border Punch, which is also a really great and quick way to add an embellishment to that. I also pulled a few of these die cut shapes from the gingerbread and peppermint suite, and I didn't make any samples with those today because the last video I did with the gift card holders featured this suite, but I did want to pull these out and show you that these would be adorable ideas to also use for these treat packages, and not just with the Peaceful Prints DSP, but you could also use it with the gingerbread and peppermint Designer Series paper if you have any of that left in your scrap bag. All right, so today we're going to be working with two templates. This first template is what is used to make the rectangle that goes around the piece of candy, and this second slim narrow one is what makes the belly band. Don't worry about the measurements while we're on today's video. I will have a download for you that will provide you with a guide to make these on your own after the video. And we're also going to need our Simply Scored board. If you don't have the Simply Scored board, you can definitely use your paper trimmer. The paper trimmer has a scoring blade on here, but I find when I'm doing projects that require multiple scores that it's faster if I use my scoring board, and so I'm going to be using that today. We'll be using the Candy Cane stamp set and the Snowman Season stamp set on one of our samples, as well as a die that I use to cut out a label. This comes from the seasonal labels dies, which match the Christmas season stamp set. I did not use these stamps on today's project. And I also used the Peaceful Deer punch. I punched out a deer, and I'll be using that on one of my designs today. Now, you're going to want to start off with a piece of paper that measures 4 by 3 1/4. So 4, 3 1/4 for each piece of candy that you want to wrap up. Again, I mentioned that this is a really efficient way for me to do the scoring. It has these great little pegs where I can predetermine exactly where it is that I'm going to be scoring. That makes it a lot faster for me to score multiple pieces of paper at a time. And your Simply Scoreboard comes with 3 of these. You used to be able to order extras, which I have an extra pack. That's why I have 6. Those are no longer available, but you can also move your peg to the other places as well. So let's see. We are going to be scoring at a half, and I just take the stylus. This tool comes with a stylus right down here in the bottom, and you just take the stylus and run it in the notch. I'm going to do that at 2, 2 1/2, and then again at 4. And those are the scores that I need to make. You want to be sure that your paper is face up. I could have used the paper on this side. In fact, that might be cute with the deer. So whatever side that you want to be the exterior of your packaging is the side that you should do the scoring on. And while we have our notches in this position, I'm also going to score my second one. You can see this is another piece of 4 by 3 1/4 inch paper. This is basic white, and I stamped it using the Candy Canes stamp. Did that in advance, just in the interest of saving us some time. And now I've made a score at the 1/2 inch, at the 2 inch, at 2 1/2, and again at 4, okay? So now I have all of my score marks on the candy cane paper. I'm gonna set this aside for a second and set this template aside. And now we're gonna need to do the belly band. So the belly band, some of the measurements are different. The first one, the 1/2 inch, is the same, but these two and this one will need to move. So we need to do 1/2 inch. We're gonna go at 3 3/4. So that's right here, 4 1/4, and then 7 1/2 is going to be our last one. Now the belly band, you'll need a piece this size for each box that you plan to make. This is 8 inches long by a 1/2 inch tall, okay? So this is the template, and I'm not gonna be able to put that up there. It's gonna overlap with where I want to work. And I'm going to bring in a piece of real red. Now, you may recognize a strip like this. I don't know about you, but I have strips like this all the time. I got these from making matting layers from some cards that I made this year. So this is the card that I made. This is a retired stamp set called Hearts Come Home, but I had a very specific reason why I wanted to make a few cards this year using this set. In order to do that, I needed this red matting layer. Now, a matting layer is a 1/4 inch smaller than the size of your card. So this is an A2 card. An A2 card measures 5 1/2 by 4 1/4, or in other words, it's exactly half of a sheet of cardstock. So in order to get these matting layers, I started off with a full sheet of cardstock. I trimmed it at 10 1/2. I then cut it again at 8, and the 8 side gave me that little scrap. The 10 1/2 side gave me that little scrap. And then I went ahead and cut it at 4, and at 5 1/4. And when I did that, I got 4 equal pieces that I could use to make matting layers for cards. And so I did that, and I made some cards, and I was left with a small pile of these trimmings. I don't toss anything out. I save these in my scrap bag, and I can always find a use for great things like this. And today's use are the belly bands that we see here on my candy packaging. Focused on the shorter ones. We need a piece that's 8 inches long, and the piece that I cut off was 8 1/2. So I just trimmed a 1/2 inch off this already before I got on the video. So we have set up our pegs, forget what you call those, and we're gonna go ahead and score these where the pegs are. So at the 1/2, at 3 3/4, at 4 1/4, and at 7 1/2. And then I'm going to go ahead and bring in my green belly band for my second candy box. Again, decide which side of the paper that you want facing up and score on that side. So at the 1/2, 3 3/4, 4 1/4, and 7 1/2. And you can see how this scoring board made quick work of doing that, especially since I actually made a whole slew of these. Okay, now we have our 2 pieces of paper, we have our 2 belly bands, and I also have some ready-made embellishments to stamp my snowman. And my snowman came from Snowman Season, which is such an adorable stamp set. I can't stand it. I made half of my Christmas cards using this last year. It's still current, though, in the catalog. If you can see, I gave this a slight amount of color using balmy blue on the foot and creating shadow around the snowball, trying to make the snowman look 3-dimensional. I used pumpkin pie on the carrot nose and dark basic black on the buttons to darken those up. And I doubt you can see it, but I also went over the snowman with Wink of Stella to add a little bit of shimmer to the snowman himself and the snow on the ground. The deer came from the Peaceful Prince Designer Series paper, and I simply punched him out of the buffalo plaid pattern using the Peaceful Deer punch. Okay, so I have my boxes, and I'm gonna bring in my silicone craft mat. That way, if I get any adhesive, this 1/2 inch is about the width of the adhesive, and there's a good bet I'll go over the edge a little bit. By doing it on my silicone mat, I'll be able to peel that right off, and it won't leave my surface tacky as I go to work on my next project. So I'm just gonna go ahead and finger fold these at the score lines just to get them started. And now that I have them finger folded, I'm going to come in with my bone folder, and I'm going to give them a really good burnish on those seams so that I get nice crisp folds. There's 4 there, and I've got 4 to do over here. This is a great project to do while you're sitting in front of the Hallmark Channel watching some awesome Christmas movies. All right, and now all I need to do is put adhesive along this strip right here. I'm going to do that again over here. And this is how we're going to attach it together. And then I'm going to go ahead and bring the 2 end flaps together and line them up so they're nice and straight. And then I'm just going to give that, I'm just inserting my fingers in there and giving it a finger press. And you can see I've got this nice rectangular package. Do the same on the second one. Okay, there we go. And I'm going to set those aside for a second, and now we're going to do the same thing on our belly bands. I'm going to give them a finger fold, get things started. bring in the bone folder for a really nice crease. And now we're going to do the same thing where we're going to just put some Stampin' Seal on just one of these tabs. You want to use a generous amount because these are going to have some motion to them. They're going to be slipped on and off. You know, somebody's going to slide this off to get to their piece of candy. So if you have the Stampin' Seal Plus, that might also be a great idea for this project. The Stampin' Seal Plus is a little bit stronger. So the Stampin' Seal Plus is actually great to use for 3D projects. I should have thought about that before I got started, but since I've already put seal on there, we're going to go with that. And I'm just going to line up the two ends together and give that a finger press. And I'm going to line this up together and give that a finger press. All right, let's go ahead and choose our candy. I'm going to put the mint cookie layer one in this, and I'm going to go ahead and put the 1000 grand in this one. And now I'm going to go ahead and slide my belly bands on. So there's belly band number one. And there's belly band number two. Now, this one I'm going to hold horizontally, and this one I'm going to hold vertically, just because the shape will fit better in a vertical direction. And so I'm going to grab some Stampin' Dimensionals, and I'm going to put 2 on my reindeer. Go with 3 on my snowman because this is a bigger shape. And just peel the backing off on those. Make sure that your dimensionals are in the center so that when you adhere your embellishment to the box, that you adhere it to the belly band and not to the box itself. That way when the belly band slides, my reindeer slides with him. All right, so there we have our reindeer. And now I'm going to go ahead and attach my snowman on here. I'm going to make sure I get those dimensionals onto that belly band. Did I? Perfect. Okay, good. I have a little black rhinestone here. I thought maybe it might be fun to add that to the deer for like a little eye. I think that looks cute. Add a little bit of bling to my reindeer. It was as easy as that. So I really encourage you to make your own candy packaging. Perfect for any little fun-sized candy bar. Really great for these Hershey's Cookie Layer Crunch mint candies that feel kind of Christmassy. These are a fan favorite of my mom, and sadly she passed away last year, and so I'm gonna have Christmas without her this year, and thinking about her, so I went and bought her favorite candy. So thanks so much for joining me for this quick but super fun project. These are gonna look adorable as party favors or table place setting favors, or just little treats to leave on your coworkers' desks. There's lots of great things that you could embellish these with. If you're using the Penguins Playmates paper, you know, I use this penguin and the penguin punch, as I mentioned, but there's also really cute foxes or these other penguins that are super cute, and even a little sleeping fox would be really cute on your packages. So rather than even have to stamp, you could simply just fussy cut, or in the case of this one, punch it out with the punch. And like I said, I punched out my evergreen trees using the evergreen border punch. Again, the peaceful deer punch is super fun. You could stamp any image of your choosing and cut it out on a label. All sorts of fun things that you could do with these. And don't forget all of the great gingerbread cookie die cuts from Peppermint and Gingerbread. Tons of fun that you could make with those. Now, if I'm digging back into my stash, I have a couple of other ideas for you. Another one that's really cute, if you still have this, would be using the gift wrapped stamp set and matching punch. These were current for Christmas 2020. They have since retired and are no longer available, but many people still have this in their stash. And they make an adorable, what looks like a little present. That's so super cute. I love that if you still have that in your stash. Another fun idea is to pull out the ornament punch. There was a dual punch pack. These were just on the clearance rack, so I bet a lot of people just picked this up. And you could make a cute tree ornament and maybe put like a little ribbon around there. A couple of other ideas from some other things you may have in your stash. Don't forget the tutorial will be available for download to give you all of the measurements. And if you've enjoyed this video, I'd really appreciate it if you'd give it a thumbs up and leave me a comment. Let me know which one of these treat boxes is your favorite. So we have the bow, the penguin, the evergreens, the snowman, the reindeer, or the tree ornament. Love to hear from you which one you liked the best. And please, again, don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel, Handmade with Holly. Would love to have you join me again in the future for more videos. I always have lots of great projects and I enjoy sharing them with you. If you're interested in purchasing any of these supplies and you don't already have a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, I'd love to become your demonstrator. Check down in the description for a link to my online store. I really appreciate your business and thanks for joining me today. Until the next time, bye.